Alright, well, hello guys. So got a couple of 6430s there. We'll go over those in a minute. But I got this New Holland T4 110, and if anybody can find a service manual on this thing, would be awesome. A diagnostics manual, you know, the codes and the troubleshooting steps. Let me just go over this code with you. This thing's throwing. I've looked and looked trying to find out what this code means. Let me look it up on my phone. Let's see here. Let's go to camera. Okay, the code is what it's saying is turbocharger protection, cold start detected, DTC F54200, repetitions 1. Well, before I cleared it, it had 37 repetitions. So if anybody could tell me, I thought it had something to do, you know, with like the glow plugs or something like that. I don't see anything. I've torn a bunch of shit off there. I don't see anything wrong there. I'm just having a hell of a time finding a service manual for the damn tractor. So if somebody has a line on where a guy could get a complete service manual, downloadable version or CD-ROM or fuck a paperback, I don't give a shit. I'll buy it. So let me know if you would, please. Okay, so this old girl here is in sad condition. Even the people that own the tractor, their mechanic over there said that they've kind of overtaxed this tractor. I mean, they used to mow the front and rear mowers on it, and they were too big for what the tractor was, you know. And I always told them when they were using this tractor that they were working her a little too hard. But anyway, I need to talk to them. The engine needs to be rebuilt. It's got blow-by like crazy coming out that blow-by tube right there. As you can see, there's antifreeze all over the ground here. Is that antifreeze or? Yeah, that's antifreeze. That's kind of some really funky smelling stuff there. Yeah, that's weird. Where the hell's that coming from? Something up underneath the cab here is puking it out everywhere. So that's one of the things we got to figure out. Another thing that's going on with this tractor, say if you're in Ford, so you know you got your shuttle lever on the column, and then you got your ABCD range. Something's going on with the Ford. I think the Ford or one of them shuttle packs in there, because if you go into reverse and say you just leave it in gear and then push it on the clutch, you can coast, you know. And I tested it out because they were complaining that in Ford, if you go forward and push in on the clutch, it's actually like a brake comes on and just stops you. So there's something not right there. I don't know. They're gonna have a pile of money. I mean, the engine needs to be rebuilt. There's a leak under the cab. There's a leak back here. Gonna have to pull this valve block apart. It's just oil just running out of this tube here, out of the priority block on the bottom where it feeds it. So that's the deal with this one. This one here ain't much better. This 6430, they said that they've changed these remotes back here. They said they changed them 3 times, the couplers, last year, and it keeps blowing all the seals out of it. So I don't know what's going on there. And then the transmission, you can't drive it from here to the oh, you can probably drive a quarter mile after the engine warms up, and the transmission's throwing the transmission hot light. Well, the first thing I told them to check was on these 6430s. You'll look back here. Well, this light is either too bright or too dim. Anyways, these 6430s back here, see these 2 water lines right here coming off? That runs back there to your heat exchanger and then to your transmission cooler and all that stuff. And these will here, if they have a water leak somewhere on the machine and it gets a little bit low, these pumps are notorious for getting airbound, and I can tell nobody's ever checked this one. Because usually the way I get the air out of them is I'll pop these clamps off and I'll just pop the hose loose and rev it up, and it'll finally bleed itself out and it'll start pissing water out there, and then you put it back on and put a regular hose clamp on it, But you can always tell in these 6430s if you've got that problem, is open that overflow tank up and you'll see water. As soon as you start the tractor, you should see water circulating. You know what I think these guys are all doing to me? I think these guys are all bringing their pack rats to my shop. Look at all this shit on top of here. A little bit scary, huh? But, you know, I did do that though. I checked that and the water was circulating just fine. So, yeah, we got to do some checks on this thing. First thing we're going to do is see what kind of codes are in it. Ugh. Ugh. Let's get rid of that update. I don't want to update right now. This is a premium. The other tractor's not a premium. So you can, this one here has VGT turbo and all that stuff on there. Let's go to John Deere. Okay. Let's go to the 6000 series. Go to 6030 Premium series. Let's go. Let's see if I can read something on the transmission. Let's see. TCU for auto power IVT. No, this does not have an IVT. This has got an auto power, auto quad plus. The new Holland tractors, man, I have a hard time finding information on them. I mean, they've really got them tied up. Okay, so look here, we got a wheel speed sensor, hydraulic system oil filter status, gearbox oil temperature, gearbox oil temperature, gearbox oil temperature, hydraulic system oil filter status. So, alright. I wonder if we've lost a charge pump or something, or what the hell's going on. Gear shift solenoid valve A. The code for that in there too. Let's click on one of these codes. Code 177. Valid data but over the normal operating range. High safety limit. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Low voltage or short circuit to earth. Valid data but above the normal range, moderate warning stage, press confirm. I'm seeing that one there that says short though. I'm wondering, low voltage or short circuit to earth. Counter, that's only happened one time. Let's go back and look how many times these other ones have happened. That one's happened 59 times if they've got the damn transmission hot. And that's the high safety limit. That's probably where it goes into limp mode. So that one's happened 59 times. This one's happened 126 times. Come on, guys. What the hell are you doing? So I need to get my service advisor and look these codes up and start testing everything. Transmission calibration, activations. There ain't nothing on that. Let's go back. I'm just going to do a complete scan of all the controllers and see what codes are in all of them. Give me an idea where to start at here. Sometimes when they get so damn screwed up like this, you don't even know where to start. It's sometimes if you can write all the codes down or save them into memory, which this will do, at least you can refresh and go back and look at them But sometimes it's good just to clear them and then we'll run it and see which one comes back first. And at least you got a kind of a halfway idea where to start. Okay, these are all the ones with codes in them, and the ones with the red X's, they're not available here on this. This one doesn't have a suspended axle, and it doesn't have codes. Let's see here. Oh, they got the cheaper version for remotes. They got just cable remotes, so they're not SEVs. Okay, so that'll tell us what our codes there. That's the ones we just read on the transmission. Body computer DTC description not available. For further information, carry out a diagnosis. Okay. Suction control valve signal on the engine. Code 168 supply voltage, CAN message. Rear hydraulic lift. So it's not really telling us a whole lot there. So another thing we can do is go into this, since that's not wanting to do what we want it to do. And I'll start looking up these codes one at a time, and I'll just have to start going through them. Sometimes you can look up a lot of codes, and if you start putting them all together from different controllers, sometimes you'll see one system working with another one, and you'll try to, oh, this is what's wrong. See what the BCU codes are. Okay, so there's some BCU controller codes. We'll go back. DTI, ECU, EPC. And we got EPC. Should be a TCU down here. I guess not. What are they calling? EPC, okay. That's why I'm not seeing it's an EPC controller for the power quad. Right there. ECU. Alright guys, I'm going to get my service advisor and start looking up all these codes. Okay guys, I've been kind of going through the checklist here of checking things. There's a lot of things that can happen when you get transmission oil temperature faults like that. And the first thing you want to check, and I'm still kind of a little skeptical about what I'm finding there. I don't think I've ever seen one with that much air bubbles and cavitation in this. There's two sections in this overflow tank up here. And there's a small section on the right and a larger section. The small section on the right, man, I am getting all kinds of air bubbles in it. And I cracked my lines out here, and I had good water coming out here. As you can see, I cut those factory clamps off and put hose clamps. I had all kinds of water shooting out of there. Man, I don't know, man. I'm wondering. The engine's not getting hot, though. The amount of air bubbles I'm seeing in there, man, I don't know, man. It reminds me of like a head gasket problem. Like the head gasket's preheating the water, and then it's getting everything else hot. I mean, the tractor only got to 189 degrees, but the transmission went to 224 or something like that. It went to the red stop, light on me. And I wasn't even moving. I just put the gear shift in neutral and then put the range selector, the power quad in the fourth gear. That way I could get those most RPMs out of the transmission. So what we're going to do now is check charge pressure or system pressure on the transmission. And that would be, should be this one right here. We should have 167 psi. 167 psi at 1000 RPM and 205 psi at 2300 RPM. Okay. So let's got a gauge here handy. Bumper up to 1,000. Where are we at here? Yeah, that's right. The gauge is kind of hard to read. It's dark in here. Yeah, we're at like 150, 155, 160. Yeah, that's about right. It's actually a little higher than what it says it should be. It's probably like right around 180. So 2,300 RPM. Around in there. So 205 is right on the money there, 205. Alright, so nothing wrong with that. System pressure is good. Okay. I'm thinking it's most of the time when you get these transmission codes, it's something to do with the coolant system on these things. Okay, guys. So what we got going on here is our lube pressure's dropping off. So let's check our lube pressure at 1,000 RPM. Bumper up to 1,000. You're supposed to have 10 PSI at 1,000 RPM. And we've got 2, 4, so let's see, we've got about 5 PSI. So at 2,300. RPM. Supposed to have 26 to 40 PSI. But what's going on here is the oil and the engine coolant temperature gets hotter. This drops clear down to almost like 22 PSI, which is 4 PSI below the low spec. 26 is the low. Well, it's already dropping off. We'll let her run here for a while. So it had a filter, and it did it once to me. It had the transmission filter restriction light came on. I had a transmission filter in the parts room, and I changed the filter. And I dumped the filter out, and there was a bunch of silvery, glittery looking shit in there. So with the transmission filter being restricted and this lube pressure being low, things are kind of pointing towards either the transmission pump has gone to hell on it, or we've got an internal problem in the transmission and we're losing our lube pressure. And I'm kind of thinking maybe the charge pump on it, because the warmer the oil gets, well, and it could be something in the transmission too. But I really can't check the charge pressure pump and test it. I have to just pull it off and look at it, because you're supposed to have this fancy plate with 2 fittings on it. You take this, you bolt it to the front of the transmission, and you put a what do you call it? A flow control valve on it, and I don't have that, so it's not that bad to pull the charge pump out of them and just look at them. Yeah, we're down to 28 PSI. Yeah, we're actually 27. That's probably a good indication that the charge pump, I'm thinking charge pump's not moving enough oil. The internal gear pump's right here behind the front drive line. See, we're already down to 26 PSI. We're at the low spec right now. I tested it a minute ago. I had some company showed up, and when he showed up it was down to 24 psi. Down to 25 psi. We're already below spec, so we got a problem here, and I don't even know if these guys are, I don't even know if they're gonna fix it. So I called them and told them, and he's gonna talk to the guy that pays the bills, and he said they might just go trade it in. So I don't know, we'll see. I tried to, you know, I want to do the job. I tried to tell him that it's not an 18-speed power shift. I mean, it's still not going to be cheap, but you know, you're not going to be 20 grand into it like you would be on a 18-speed power shift. So we'll see what happens on that. I guess we're done with this one for now until we get a decision from them. But I'll show you right quick. If I could find my flashlight, I'll use my phone. One here. Right here. Oh, charge pump's right in here, behind the yoke right there. You see the drive line go through there. Guys, I had to video this. Oh my god. Forced regen on a 6.7 power stroke that the old timer, the old guy, these old guys, they don't get this regen stuff. It actually cleared up a bit since I first started, man. It was bad. But the soot load, the percentage on my scanner said 187% plugged up. Clearing up now. Anyway, the exhaust gas temperature sensor, see bank 1 sensor 2, which would be this one, was really screwed up. It was bent over and I just straightened it out, and then it started reading temperature again. It was reading no voltage and the temperature was wrong. So see, we're at, see, exhaust gas temperature, bank 1 sensor 1 is 315, bank 1 sensor 2 is 620, bank 1 sensor 3 is 535, and 516 on number 4. DPF filter's coming apart. You hear that shit rattling around in there? See what it does for regen. Something's not right, because it's kicked the regen out. Drive to clean exhaust, it says. Really? Never had one quit like that. That's really strange. See, I don't think it completed the regen. I think he fucking screwed his DPF filter up, so I think, because it kicked the regen out, but it's not telling me why. I can hear stuff rattling around in that, it's in that filter. I think he drove it around too long that it screwed up. It said on my deal, I looked at the live data, and it said 6,500 miles since the last regen. And I know this is the pickup he feeds in and stuff, so he's just been idling around with it, and he's probably just really screwed it up. Okay. Let's see if we can clear any codes on it. I gotta go back into diagnosis to do that. Control unit, PCM. Let's see. Let's go read codes real quick. I might try to do the force regen one more time and see if it'll do it. I got a feeling the honeycombs and all that stuff of what happens when they get really plugged up like that. That heat tries to go through it and it blows it out or melts the front face of that, and then it just comes apart. And drive to clean exhaust system. Come on, man. Okay. I'm gonna try it. Let's see if they'll race. Okay, they raced. Check engine light didn't come right back on. So let's try to do it again. This thing goes through quite a bit of countdowns on it, so it's already satisfied with those requirements, so it went right to that. So press OK. Now it's got to do this little test here. This exhaust gas temperature sensor is reading now. We got it clean some though, I think, because it was loaded at like 180 something %. So we're gaining on it. I don't know why it kicked it out though, is what I'm not quite understanding. DPF load percentage, DPF percentage load inferred. Yeah, it's going down quite a bit now. I was like at 180% before. Yeah, the Texas unit doesn't do it like this. It just, once you get into it, and it gives you all the warnings, you know, about not doing it inside and not catching shit on fire. And then you just press go and it starts regenning, but this one's a little different. It goes through all these countdowns and stuff here. Usually it'll stay wound up, you know, the whole time until it's done. Part loaded 50 to 99%, loaded 100 to 120%, overloaded 120 to 199, clogged 200. This time regeneration of the disc plug is not recommended. Would you like to continue with the diesel particulate? I'm going to do it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna do static. Okay, here we go. Nope, it's not gonna do it, is it? Or is it going to do it? Okay, it is. Exhaust gas temperature sensor 1. You'll know when it starts to, the doser valve starts shooting fuel in there right now. See it coming up. I wonder why this one here's not moving. Number 3. Oh, there it goes. Bank 1 sensor 3 is just now starting to move. The outlet's moving before the inlet. It's kind of different, isn't it? That doesn't seem right to me. God, I wonder if it just did the... It acted like it just did the... maybe you guys know better than I do. On the trucks and stuff, it does the whole thing till it's done. Till it's clean, you know. It goes to 0%, but it acts like this one went down to the 50% threshold, and then it said drive to clean, and that was it. Yeah, it ain't smoking like it was. Oh my God, no, that's hot though, man. Melt the paint off. Cause I only got to like 700 degrees. On bank 1 sensor 3. Yeah, when I first started it, man, oh my God, I was standing back there and I just was, you know, was watching it, and I wanted to see what came out of the pipe. It about asphyxiated me when it started to actually, you could tell when the doser valve started shooting the fuel in and it started burning. Holy shit, I ran. It was like, well, you know, like an ammonia, like just, you know, that just takes your breath away. And this shit's supposed to be good for the environment? Fuck. You gotta be kidding me, man. I think the thing they're trying to cure it with is worse than what they're trying to cure. Well, the check engine light didn't come back on, so I'm gonna order him an exhaust gas temperature sensor with it. You know it's got a bad connection there. If you bend it back up, you know it's just going to fail again. And this is an old timer. He's not going to do no delete. He'll just say fix it. He don't like this shit any, but I know he's not going to do that. I'm not even going to ask him. Up here in Siskiyou County, we don't have to smog them when we buy them, as of yet. But California, with their left-wing fanaticism and their emissions laws, who knows when we're gonna be subject to like the rest. I think some of them, I know down in Redding, I think it's every 2 years, and I think for some places down south, I think it's every year. check coolant additives. It's got a coolant filter on it. Check coolant additive, huh? To see what that means. His blower motor's out over there too, and I dropped my little Torx bit and I can't find it now over there, but I wanted to kind of keep an eye on these, see what we were doing here. See if this one's gonna last longer than the last one did. Yeah, I just got back. It's about it's almost 6. I left this morning early. Let that thing run. Go in here where you can hear me. Anyways, we let that I left early this morning at 5 this morning, went down to Wairika, put the fuel tank, finished up the 850. I mean, it took me all day. I didn't get out of there till 3:30 and make it back up here till 5. So anyway, yeah, I got back, got that done. And this here is a 710D John Deere. This is a huge backhoe, man. It's like a front end loader. It's a big bastard, isn't it? Look at the boom. I had to lower the boom down to get it through the door. But what we got to do with this one, both stabilizer cylinders got to be resealed. Both swing cylinders need to be repacked. A big old bucket on it, doesn't it? And then before I do the cylinders, I got to pull the rear end out of it because, well, I got to see first. I might be able to just pull the hams off the side. Kind of wondering about that. Oh, what he's got going on is the rear end's overfilling with oil, so obviously one of the brake packs seals must be blown and it's just pumping oil back into the rear end, is what I'm thinking. They were going to work on it themselves and they decided they didn't want to do it, so they already had the seat off. And here's the, got a bucket of oil here. I like this backhoe though. You'll like the way this one sounds. Must have it in gear or something, huh? Huh. What's the deal with that? That's far enough to start it. Oh, shuttle lever's in neutral. What the hell the deal is there? Park brakes on. There's something going on with the neutral safety or something in it. Anyways, I'll have to look at that. That's kind of weird. Shuttle levers in neutral. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, this one's got a 6-cylinder in it. It sounds good too. This guy's got a 710J at home too. These guys down, they own a big pipeline outfit. They do all the utilities for like the city of San Jose and stuff, so I think they got plenty of work down there. But they bought a ranch up here and they got all kinds of equipment. He's got a loader too he's gonna bring over that the articulating cylinders on it are leaking real bad that he wants done. And here we got my buddy's pickup, and it lost the shift solenoid. well, dirty oil. It made the shift solenoid stick open. Looks like it's going to do the regen completely this time. This time we're at 625 degrees. I don't know why it kicked it out last time. It never gave me a reason. Usually it'll say conditions aren't met, or it'll throw a code as to why, you know, why it failed the regen. So far so good on this one. Yeah, usually it stays wound up, you know, revved up all the way to the timeline here, 2,520 seconds. How many minutes is that? It's going to kick out again. But see, it's idling down this time. It kicked the fan off. That's what it usually does. Last time it just shut, you know, it's kind of like shut off. Now it's cooling down now is what it's doing. It's moving that, you know, it's actually using airflow and exhaust flow to cool it down. Kind of curious to see what the load is now. See if it says drive to clean exhaust or anything. Nothing now. We gotta let that cool down at least to, like, that's Celsius. That's reading in Celsius, so 600. What's 600 Celsius? Pretty damn hot. Damn it, I have no service here. That's hot, 600 degrees Celsius. I know that. Let's type in here the phone, 600 Celsius. Fahrenheit. It's 1112 degrees. So that's about right what you want to see on a regen temp. You want to see that hot. Okay, let that cool down. We'll go back into the live data. Diagnosis, that's what I gotta do. Control unit, PCM, and we'll look at the live data, and I want to see what the soot load and all that stuff is now. Okay, let's go to DPF, inlet pressure. Oh, percent load negative 32. We got that sumbitch clean. Let's look at it. We can monitor our temperatures here. You don't want to shut them off when they're hot like that. Let them run, let them cool down naturally. So here we go. Exhaust gas temperature, bank 1, sensor 1, bank 1. They ought to just put 1, 2, 3. I don't know why they do that, but yeah. See, this one's reading in Fahrenheit. So we're 1045 degrees on number 3. It's not even showing a 4 on this one. That outlet's at 1,000 degrees still. It's crazy. What if you rev it up? Does it cool down quicker, or does it get hotter? What's the deal here? It's slowly cooling down. Boy, it sure is taking a while to cool down, huh? It gets down to 500 degrees, I'll feel somewhat safe there to shut it off. Anyways, I got a lot of work to do here, and I got a lot of work to do down south, which I need the work anyway, because I need some money so I can get my service truck going. I got to do some work on that thing too. You guys have all been mentioning the killer dowel pin to me on that 12 valve. Well, I can tell you right now, that's what that oil leaks from. That timing cover's cracked. That's why it's leaking. I found that out last night. I got to looking at it really hard and then working on all the other stuff on that truck, lights and stuff, you know, getting the boxes cleaned out. And I finally climbed underneath it and really looked, and I could see they had the bottom of the timing cover epoxied. They had a bunch of epoxy over it, and I could see the oil pouring out of the timing cover, and I said, oh. So I ordered a $145 timing cover for it, and well, I guess it's a trade-off. I got a fairly good deal, and it's not good, but it's not that bad. That timing cover issue is not that big of a problem. I still got to pull I don't know if I can pull that cam gear off of there or just pull the cam out of it. Pulling the cam out of that thing's not that big of a deal anyway. I mean, those 12 valves are really pull the individual valve covers off, pull the rocker shaft, pull the push tubes, and take some magnets and stick the lifters up, and then pull the I wonder if I'm pretty sure you can pull the lifters up with magnets. I have to look, I can't remember, but anyway, it ain't that bad to do. Well guys, I'm gonna let this thing cool down. I'm gonna head to the house.